That, are you guys excited? Can that help your business? All right, so do me something. I've never had the chance to properly thank him for what he's done for me. But today, can I ask you to help me do that? Can we all stand up, scream, shout, get loud, and welcome to this stage, Mr. Jimmy Kim. What an intro, sir. Come on, one more time, loud, Jimmy Kim, everybody.
Awesome, awesome. Well, first of all, thank you, Anik, for that intro. That was quite amazing. And, you know, before I even start with anything, I'm kind of looking around this crowd and looking at all of you guys, and I want to, congratulate you guys for taking action. I mean, it's a really big thing to come out here and take your time. I remember, again, when I was first starting, going to events was the way that I could do everything from networking to learning and getting yourself all motivated. So, congratulations to you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here today, okay? All right, cool. Awesome. So, as Anik said, today I'm going to talk about the 10 things that people should know about email marketing in 2015. Now, all you guys, obviously, Profit Academy, Phase 1 teaches you all about email marketing. Now, he teaches you everything from opt-in pages and building lists and yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go over all that because you guys have all that knowledge. But there's a lot of hidden knowledge that continuously changes throughout the day. So, before I get into that, though, just for those who don't know who I am, I wanted to kind of go over who I am real quick, okay? So I'm going to look at my screen while I talk. So I've been doing internet marketing for a little over 6 years now. It was actually April of 2009 that I actually started doing internet marketing, so 6 years, 1 month now. So that's when I started working with Anik. I am the CEO and co-founder of SendLane.com. A lot of you guys are on SendLane. Thank you. So, you know, with that, I actually am also the CEO and managing partner of a leading Las Vegas clothing boutique as well. So I've got my hands in all sorts of things. And of course, I run my own thing. My claim to fame right now at this point is that, you know, I've been responsible for being part of over $50 million in product launches. So, thank you. And email marketing alone makes me over $2 million a year. That's what I cleared last year. So email marketing works, the basics work. So that's what I'm going to do. But before all this, I'm going to kind of give you guys a background of who I am. And Anik kind of prefaced it and kind of shared with you guys everything that I do and, you know, what I came from. But let me just start talking about who I am, right? This is kind of my story, right? So I started off washing cars at the age of 16, right? So throughout the years, right, I kind of moved up the ranks really fast. It was actually really fun. At the age of 16, at 17, I got promoted to head lot attendant. Then I moved up into the sales guy, finance manager. Then next thing I know, I went into finance director position, general sales manager, and eventually became a general manager. At the age of 25, I was actually one of the youngest general managers in the USA for General Motors. Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, I ran a Saturn store, and I actually ran 3 Saturn stores, and, you know, when that 2007, 2008 thing hit, right? Remember, you guys all remember the whole bankruptcy, the bubble burst, everything happened. General Motors said, buy the Saturn, right? And that's when that mindset changed, right? I didn't know what to do. So, you know, at that point, I was actually offered to stay as a part ownership in a brand new Kia dealership that they were opening, and I actually declined because I was just tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Everybody's here because you guys want to make a change in your life, right? That's the idea, right? That's the important thing, right? So even myself, at that point, I was making multi-six figures at that point. It wasn't like I wasn't making a lot of money. But as I said, 12, 14, 16-hour days, constantly on my phone. That whole trip that he talks about, that was my 1-week vacation that I got out of a whole year. No matter, you know what I mean? That's all I got. I was working Saturdays almost all the time, sometimes Sundays, depending on the time of the month, of course, if we had sales quotas to meet. And it was a tough gig, right? So I talk about this. He kind of talked about it. So it was roughly 2007. Anik already talked about it. We met in Vegas. We had a good old time. We became really good friends, right? We became really good friends. But we never talked about internet marketing. We just kind of, you know, we would just kind of dabble, what do you do, kind of deal. But most of the time, we were talking about other stuff, you know, show stuff, TV, movies, etc., right? What do friends do, right? That's exactly what we did. Well, it was 2007, 2008, right? Oops, sorry, I skipped forward. 2007, 2008, that I had realized that I wanted to make a change, right? This is where I started to make that change. And that's when this happened. So basically, he already went over this. We made a barter almost. Teach me internet marketing, show me what you're doing, I will fix your business. That's what I said. I will fix your business. And he gave you the story again. I don't want to keep going into it because I want to get into the meat of the content today. But just to give you an idea, that's kind of what we did. That's how I started, and that's where I am today. And now, 6+ years later, I'm here standing in front of all you guys. It's really exciting to be here and talking to everybody all about email marketing. So let's talk about the goals here today, okay? And now I see all these people taking notes. Just FYI, at the end of the presentation, I'll give you guys a link where you can download the presentation today, so you guys have it, okay? Yeah, so I figured it would help instead of all this note, because I don't know about you guys, but my handwriting is terrible. So if I wrote all these notes, I would look at the end and be like, it didn't mean anything to me anyway, so. So I put the presentation down, obviously, and I'm sure they're recording it as well. So here's what the goals. I'm going to share my wisdom on email marketing. You guys are all email marketers. No matter what you're doing in marketing, no matter what niche you're in, no matter what avenue of the world, from retail to internet, anything you do, you should be using email marketing. It's the future. It's here. It's not going to go away anytime soon. You guys all wake up and check your email in the morning. Everyone else does. I mean, you guys aren't anything special versus anyone else in the world. All check the email in the morning. So why would email ever go away? But you got to become a better email marketer. You are now in a big web of inboxes, basically. Everybody is in there, right? How many people, you wake up, how many people got 50 emails a day when you wake up every morning, right? Yeah, look at that. You guys all get it, right? So how do you make yourself stand out? How do you make yourself make sure that you're in the email inbox? And that's what I'm going to teach you guys today, and that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. So these are my best practices for 2015, okay? These are my 10 best practices for 2015, and I'm just going to go right into it. There's a lot of content we're going to talk about. I might say something that goes over your head. It's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect for you guys right now, but as you guys grow your business, my goal, obviously, is to make sure that you can go ahead and implement that into your business, okay? So the first things first I talk about. This is a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about that happened in the beginning of this year. It's called SEO for email. Fancy thing up there. Yeah. So basically, SEO for email. What is it, okay? So what is thing? All right. So the idea of copying an email no longer works. Now, what do I mean by that? You guys are taught with email marketing that you're supposed to go off and find an affiliate offer and write an email, right? But a lot of times the JV page or the affiliate page will actually give you emails that you can copy. You guys know what I'm talking about here? Yes. Okay. Good. So that no longer works in 2015. Doing that will hurt your inbox. What you should be doing with that is that you should be using it as a guidance. Just a simple guidance of how to write it. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example of that because I always feel like it makes more sense when I give you this example. So here's my example I tell you, right? I have a very special, this is what the original would say. I have a very special video in which you'll learn how to open your very online business, right? That's the original that they give you. Now, you just want to tweak it in your own words. Saying the same message while still giving that same message, but changing it so that it's not the same. So not every person who went to that page is copying the same thing. So in this case, I wrote, if you've been thinking about opening an online business, I have a very special video that you need to watch, right? It still delivers the same message, but it's just in your own voice. Does that make sense? Just a very simple change like that. And now, there's going to do two things for you. It's not even just doing it for deliverability, but it also helps you build your mind up for creating your own voice. It's very important to create your own voice in email marketing. Everyone has their followers. You guys listen to Anik. You guys have listened to Sonia. You guys have listened to Mike. Everybody here has a different style, right? If you're on their email list, you have a different style that you receive from every marketer, right? That's because they all have their own voice. The successful marketers will always have their own voice because you have to be able to share in your words. So that's my first thing, okay? Now, number two, I want to talk about using free email service such as Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, Bing, any of those services, versus a domain name, versus the idea of a domain name. How many people do your email marketing use free services? Gmail, email? Oh, wow, nobody? No? A couple people, you guys are shy. It's okay. All right, so using your email service free versus thing. So basically, let's talk about this right now, okay? So this is when you're sending your email from like jimmykim@gmail.com, for example, right? As opposed to jimmy@jimmykim.com or something like that, right? So the idea for people that get scared, right? I was talking to a lady, I don't remember who I spoke to a little bit earlier. Oh, she's over there. She was talking to me about that. She said, how do I get my email into a domain name, but without buying all the hosting, without all the technical stuff? So I kind of laid it out here today with you guys, okay? You buy a $10 domain. You forward your free email service. So what do I mean by that? Basically, when you buy one, if you use Namecheap, GoDaddy, any of these services, actually in the back end of those things, if you go, there's an option called email forwarding. You can just set it up where you write Jimmy, and let's say I bought jimmykim.net, which is my domain, right? So if I say Jimmy and jimmykim.net forwards off to my email address, my Gmail address, okay? I haven't bought any hosting. I haven't had to do anything. I spent $10 to have a personalized email address, right? That alone will help your delivery. That's important because, I'm going to tell you why, okay? So first, it creates a trusted domain name. Gmail is like Gmail, Yahoo, all those, the free services, are what the spammers use. They'll spam you with these free ones because they'll just turn and churn, right? So when you have an email address where you have people listening to you, you create this trust in the domain, right? The ESPs, the email, the Google and the Gmail, and everybody who's inboxing into your inbox, they have to trust your domain. It also allows whitelisting. You guys have seen the whitelisting. You'll see other marketers say, oh, whitelist my email address. You guys have seen that, right? Yeah? So that's what that does too. And then, yeah, I already talked about that. So that's supposed to be say free emails, by the way. I must have been hungry when I was writing that. All right, so, and then the trusted sender email, okay? So that's kind of like the really small tidbit that takes $10, 5 minutes of your time that you should be doing for all your businesses. Don't use Gmail to send from. This is your sender email. This is when you're sending that from name, right? The from name of whoever you're sending it from. So if it says Jimmy Kim, the from name next to it, right? Wherever it's coming to email. This is what I'm talking about in using for your email. So make sure you're using these domain names. It's $10. It's real easy. It's right in the back end. It's called email forwarder. You can't miss it. So it's very simple and straightforward, okay? So the third thing I talk about is list scrubbing. How many people here have a list already? Raise your hands. Somebody's good to see? Okay, we got a good amount. Like, okay, got you. All right, so what is list scrubbing, right? AKA deleting old emails. Now, the idea of deleting old emails sounds like crazy, right? I'm going to go over an example of why it's so important again in 2015. All right? So why is it important and how you do it. All right? So I always say, don't be afraid, okay? So what is the idea of list scrubbing? Basically, you have emails, and people are on your email list. Now, you guys know what open rates are and so forth, right? You guys are familiar with that term. So the open rate idea is basically what percentage of the people are opening your emails, okay? Now, here's the question for you. If someone's been on your email for 60 or 90 days, and they haven't opened a single email from you at this time, do you think they're going to open an email from you on the 91st day? On the 120th day? No, right? They're not going to keep opening your emails. So why are they on your email service? Why are you paying more money for your autoresponder service to have a bigger list, right? When you're not actually delivering any email to them. So the idea of list scrubbing is so important. Doing a list scrubbing is like the thing to do these days. I'm deleting people off my list at 90 days. At 90 days, if they haven't responded to me, they're gone. Why? Because when you're delivering email, the smaller your email list, the better the delivery. Let's just keep the people that are active on your email list. Let's not talk to the people that don't want to hear you, okay? So I'm going to give you an example, and this example actually goes to Anik Business because I do help Anik with his email delivery, and this is actually a really fun example. So the first time I came to Anik with this, I said, Anik, your email list is bloated, your email list is old, we got to do something about it. And I said, I'm going to delete 100,000 people off your email list. 100,000 people. Now, you guys are already going, whoa, 100,000 people, that's crazy, right? Well, I said, it's okay. Trust me on this, we'll save it. So just in case something bad goes and I'm wrong, we'll save it, right? But trust me, I've done my research, I understand how this works, I've been doing it myself, let's do it. So let me give you guys the results, right? We delete 100,000 people, right? We actually, the first email campaign immediately, we start seeing results instantly, right? We see better opens. I'm talking about more opens, not just a percentage, right? We see better clicks. And over time, This actually increased because the domain trust increased it. Basically, there was more openness, so like Gmail, Yahoo, Bing, all these people, the people who have email addresses, email services are looking at Onyx emails and going, oh, they really trust him because more people are opening it. So what happens is even the ones that weren't inboxing at one point or another for any other reason are starting to inbox. They're starting to show up in their inboxes. So it helps that delivery, okay? So there's that one, all right? So number 4, this is something, I believe Anik talks about this a lot. It's called link cloaking. I found this fancy image on Google, and it actually kind of represents exactly what it does. It takes a link and it masks it, okay? And let me tell you guys why it's important. And this is a service that'll cost you anywhere from, there's free services out there. I don't even know which ones are the good ones. They're on free. But on the paid ones, there's a lot of ones out there I've seen from, I'm sure you guys have heard, like HyperTracker, ClickMagic. There's a couple other companies out there. There's ones you can install yourself. Now, that's not important. What I want to talk to you about is why you want a link cloak, okay? So what is it? Why is it important, okay? So here's why it's important, okay? First of all, you guys are buying solo ads. You guys are buying traffic. You guys are doing all sorts of things with email. You guys are spending money to invest and grow your business, okay? A link cloaker allows you to track your clicks to the T. It allows you to see your uniques. It allows you to see your raw clicks. These are important. Why? Because if you buy 500 clicks from somebody or 1,000 clicks from somebody, don't you want to see that that's delivered to you? Don't you want to see that you're actually getting those clicks? Now, the second thing, it tracks location. It's kind of cool. You can actually, a lot of these things will show you where the location of the clicks are coming from. For example, if you're seeing it overseas or mobile or whatnot, and you know how to adjust your page. The third thing, that's mobile and desktop, and it gives you real-time data. That's the coolest thing. A lot of these services, platforms, they don't really give you that real-time data that you want. I know Clickonomy gives you it inside their system, but you still want to do this, and I'll continue on why, okay? Let me give you an example, okay? So you send an email. You used the wrong link. Has anyone sent an email and used the wrong link yet? No? Nobody? Oh, I see a couple hands. They're shy. It's okay. Don't be afraid. I use the wrong link all the time. Anik does. We all do this. That's why we have a click tracker in place, okay? Okay? With link cloaking, it allows you to change your URL on the fly, okay? Let's say you send that email. Something's wrong. Their page crashes. Their server crashes. Something happens. It happens. So this is what happens. So if a door closes on the offer, so let's just say a door closed, you can't promote it anymore, you can just redirect the traffic, find something similar, send it to that. Offer is not converting. You guys have promoted offers already with your email list. If your offer is not converting, you can redirect that traffic as well. And if the offer is down, I just said that, and the page has crashed, redirect the traffic. Because the thing is, if you're sending traffic to a page that's closed, not converting, or page is down, you're just wasting traffic. Your email is your traffic. Your email is your targeted traffic that you're driving to web pages, right? Not only is it affecting your pockets for your income, but it's also affecting your delivery as well, your customers' trust, right? Because they're like clicking on a link and it says 404 page not found or doors closed. It's upsetting to some people and it's unnecessary. If you just cloak your link and use a simple service, you can get that taken care of, right? The next thing I talk about, best time to email. So this has been a topic, and when I talk about my best times to email, it's subjective, I guess. I can't tell you that this is 100% perfect, but I'm telling you from my best practices, from what I do in my companies, and what we recommend to everybody, because it's kind of important to know what time to email. I know some people will email whenever they feel like it. Some people will email in the morning, at night, but there's actually a time frame. If you can continue to email in the same time frame to most people, you actually continue to build that trust. So if you know that Onyx sends an email at 9 a.m., you know at 9 a.m. when you see an email come through, it might be from Onyx, right? The idea is to kind of train your customers. It's not only good practice, but it's also to train your customers, okay? So when is the best time to email? So this is my personal experience. So these are the 2 time frames that I find as my best time to email. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those have been my proven tests. I've tested it, range and whatnot. You can go through from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. is when you're attentive. Why? 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is either when they're getting up, showing up to work. 3 to 4 p.m., people are getting checked out of the work, right? They're ready to leave. 3 o'clock rolls around. If you guys have a job, I remember 3, 4, 5 o'clock rolls around. I'm ready to leave. I'm gone. And my mental, you know what I mean? Like I'm already out of it. And then Sunday through Thursday. So Sunday through Thursday has always been my best emails, and then Friday until 12 o'clock, and the Saturdays are worse. So those have been my personal results. And those have been my personal results. I share them with all my friends, and everybody who does this usually gets the maximum amount of attention. So it's very important to try to pinpoint an email, but those have been my time. So, since I'm here and I'm representing SendLane, I actually, for those, I know I have a lot of customers here who are part of SendLane, I actually have a really cool feature coming that we had created, and it's called Optimized Opens, okay? Basically, I'm going to just kind of give you an overview of it, and I just wanted to talk about it real quick. I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about it, too, at the same time, right? So it's a unique algorithm. It basically takes your subscribers and optimizes send times for best delivery. Basically, if customer A opens his or her emails at 9 a.m. every day, and customer B opens their emails at 4 p.m. every day. Customer C opens their emails at 7 p.m. every day, right? That idea, right? Our system will actually gather the time that they're opening their emails the best, create an average, and when you click on the Optimized Opens button, it's gonna send that email at that exact time. So if I know that customer A only opens at 9 a.m., thank you. So if I know customer A only opens emails at 9 a.m., every time I click that button, they're only going to get an email at 9 a.m. If they open at 3 p.m., they're only going to get an email at 3 p.m. So that's actually like a really cool thing. The thought process behind that is everybody has their things. Like for myself, I wake up in the morning, I check my email, and then I forget about it till probably like midday sometime. And then I'll check my email again. But I'm sure if you went back and looked at my email history, I probably have a kind of an average there, right? Somewhere that I open my emails very often. So that's what we've been working on in SendLane and making sure, because we realized that unique need for this. So number 6, let's talk about trigger words, okay? This is another thing. This is more of a best practice, again, that you should be thinking about when you're doing it. Now, if I had an argument with my CTO back there about this, because we're talking about this because it's like this. I'd rather teach you guys the practices that you should use now and implement through your business while you're growing than just use things that are not always right. So if you're Apple or you're one of these large companies, you could probably get away with using all these words because it won't matter. You've got an audience. But if you're anybody else, even myself, I don't use these words on purpose, okay? So if you go into your junk or spam folder, you're going to see these words used a lot. These are the words that every spammer and everything, basically have ruined the words. That's the best way I explain it. They've ruined the words for them. So, I say we want to try to avoid them as much as possible and use them sparsely, okay? And of course, I just mentioned it, domain reputation helps a lot in this instance. The idea of having a reputable domain and having a lot of opens, this is where that whole list scrubbing thing comes in. If you have a very active audience, a lot of these words won't apply. But especially when you're new, and you're building up your list, and your lists are small, these are very important because these are the things that the email service providers look for, okay? Now, again, you guys will have a thing here. You don't need to go try to write all these down, but these are just a handful of them, basically, of ones that putting them in to your email can actually hurt you, especially when you're smaller. This is just a small list of them. I couldn't even put them on a page. I was trying to put more. There's more, but you'll see things that you've seen. Make money. Weight loss, free, even the word free. You've got to use that. And I've had customers that send us a ticket and basically say, I can't get this email to inbox. I can't get this email to inbox. What's going on? And I go, let me look at your email that you're sending. They've got free something, free this, free that, free this. When you abuse a word, especially a trigger word, it almost automatically does. So I deleted all the free words, and seconds later it inboxes. It's amazing how that little word can screw up your whole email. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more on number 10 too. So let's talk about 7, the ideal subject line, okay? This again is something with my years of experience with email marketing, I kind of always talk about, let's make sure your subject line is ideal. You've seen the long ones, you've seen the short ones. What's the ideal thought process for you, okay? Now we know subject lines, most critical. It's like the 10, 15 seconds that you have each person. I'm browsing through my emails every morning. I'm looking at the subject line. If it doesn't capture my attention, I'm probably moving on. So it's very important, and it's especially as an email marketer. All right? So here's the thing. You want to use 50 characters or less. That's 6 to 10 words max. You don't want to use any more. Basically, that's what fills a frame on a mobile and mobile device mostly, and on a desktop, it can go a little bit longer. But with 50% of your traffic nowadays coming on mobile, It's very important to be mobile optimized. So we say 50 characters or less. That includes the space as a character, obviously, okay? Make sure your from name is very clear. Your from name. Like, if it's Jimmy Kim, be Jimmy Kim. You don't have to be, a bunch of arrows and spaces and asterisks all over your name. That doesn't help. Be clear. Be clear who you are. That's one thing that I keep telling my students. Now, let's talk about this. Avoid all caps, lots of punctuations, repetitive words, and trigger words. I'm going to go over each one real quick, okay? First of all, writing your subject in all caps is going to be almost a sure way to hit a spam filter of some sort, just because it just is unnecessary. You don't need to do it. In the internet world, when you type in all caps, you're shouting at someone, right? That's what it means. It means you're shouting at someone. No one wants to get shouted at, even if it's virtually through email. So don't shout at your customers, okay? Punctuation. I talk about lots of punctuation because this is something I learned early on. Using an abundance of punctuation through your emails, exclamation points, question marks, ellipses, anything that you're using you're using through your email, be careful. You want to use 2, 3, 4 types of punctuation in your email, max. Outside of that, you start risking yourself into the spam filter. That's basically what it comes down to. And of course, repetitive words, when you're saying very, very, or anything you use to repeat, again, is not good for delivery as well, okay? And then of course, trigger words, that's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so the next thing I talk about in number 8 is email templates and versus the plain HTML. Basically, you guys have seen them, the fancy and the plain. And this, I'm going to bring in an example again that Anik and I had talked about, because I think he even made a blog post about it, because I knew the answer to this, but he wanted to prove me wrong. And I don't know if Anik's even in here right now. But when we did it, basically, we said, I kept telling him, look, the whole fancy email thing doesn't work, okay? It's great for branding. It's great to have a representation. But the fancy email actually hurts your delivery, and it'll increase the chances of you being in the promo box. That promotional box is always looking for templates. One of the algorithms behind, especially like Gmail, because they have the promotional box now, right? They're always looking for a consistency of email templates, right? An image, boxes, special things, basically making it look like fancy, like the same template every time with the same words in there, right? So the chances of getting into your promo tab increase significantly by using a very nice template. Our best recommendation, a plain HTML email, a very simple, plain one. Just the way that you guys see Onyx send to you guys, that's the way that you should be sending as well. Don't get fancy. There's no need to do it. We've tested it over and over again, okay? So we did that. Same images. We talk about the same images. Recently I had a test where I had an affiliate, I was promoting something, and they had these images in there, right? These cool banners and stuff. Oh, use these in these email. So I tested it. I said, you know what? I have a feeling that it's not going to work very well for me. So I tested it. I copied an image, put it in my email, and I tested it. And believe it or not, ended up in the promotional tab. The reason why is, I said earlier about Google SEO. That image has an SEO. Did you know Google takes that image and they run it through their filters, right? You can actually take an image and put it into Google, and it'll tell you where it came from. It's actually really cool, and it does it backwards just in email too. So if they see it heavily used, they must assume it must be a promotion. Real simple and straightforward. Even works down to the bottom there, the same enders, signatures, the legal mumbo jumbo. I've seen marketers that write this huge legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom of the page. I get it, they're trying to protect themselves, but that's going to land you in the promotion filter as well. It really is. It's not about the email service you're using. It's not about it's not even about the content. It has most to do with just your template and your images. That's really how you end up in a promotional tablet. So now I'm going to talk about an example here. Oops. All right, well, I missed a slide, you can tell. All right. So basically, there was a basic, I'm going to just kind of lay it out in pictures here because that's the only way I can share it. But there was an email test that Anik and I did. There was email A and email B. Email A was fancy. It had pictures of him, a big like movie play button in the center of it, a bunch of words all around it, a big header, a big picture of him. And he said, oh, this is going to do way better than everything else, okay? And I said, okay, well, you send that, and we'll split test that and send it a very plain. Same message, the same subject line. Everything else we're going to leave exactly the same, okay? Let's test it. Let's see what happens, okay? So here's the results, okay? Oops. So here were the results, all right? So we did the fancy one, all right? We had an open rate of 17.72% and a click-through at 4.13%, okay? And there was the results of the plain one. Plain text was 20.37%, and the click-through rate was 11.48%. I mean, you guys can see the significance and detail there, right? That's pretty big. If your email list 100,000 people, think about how many people you're adding to that open, and especially look at the click-through rate. And the reason why was the change of the template was a big deal. The whole fancy versus the clean. The clean, it kind of got right to the point. Here's the email, you read it, click it, right? We're marketers. We're not trying to brand, well, we are trying to brand ourselves. Did that cut off? Okay. We are trying to brand ourselves, but at the same time, you still want to deliver the emails because this is your business. And every email you send, though it be content or a promotion, you still want to get in their face, no matter what. You want them to open, you want them to click, you want them to be attentive to you, or else it's a wasted email. So these are very important. The next one I talk about, call to actions. Call to actions are fun because, well, call to actions are important, and I see marketers not use it often enough. We actually, again, another recent test we started testing with, and I was like, I know the call to action is so important. We got to get up top. So here's what I talk about with call to action. Bring it early and often, okay? So this one's real simple, very simple. Bring the call of action within the first few lines, okay? Get that call of action. They're opening the email because they know you have something to deliver, but make sure there's always a call of action at the same time. Don't send emails without a call to action because they have nothing to click on. If they open it, that's great, but you gotta get them trained. The idea of having a call to action is training, regardless if it's content or it's a promotion, you want them to train him to click on something, right? And then the second thing is you want to bring it up in the first few lines because if you're like me, I open an email like this, and if I start reading the first few lines and I'm bored because it didn't tell me what's going on, it's giving me this long story about something or another, I close it because it's not attentive to me. I need to make sure that call of action, what you're doing, is told up front as fast as possible. So within the first 4 lines, I would say, get that call to action going. All right, so at least 3 times per email, as often as possible. And use HTML cloaking to display. You know, this is another fight that we have between marketers is basically, do you display like a naked link versus basically going, click here to find out more information or get more information by going here. That idea. In what I think and what my personal experience has been is that using that HTML cloak allows you to get better clicks. Get better clicks in your system because basically the idea is if you mask it, you're never displaying what they're clicking on. People are funny, you know, they see a link, it looks crazy, it looks weird, they don't click on it because they might think it's bad, it might be malicious, etc. Okay? And the last thing, and number 10 that I kind of talk to and I kind of talk to everybody, it's one of the most important things that I learned this past 2 years that has dramatically increased my inboxing, dramatically increased my email marketing, has been testing. So what am I talking about here? Testing, and retesting, okay? I just keep writing here, test, okay. So basically, the idea of any autoresponder, regardless of what you use, SendLane, or you're using any of the other autoresponder companies out there, the idea is they all have this little test button. You guys have all seen a test button, right? You know what I'm talking about? There's like a little, some don't, okay. Well, when you're in the email campaign, after you've written the email out, there's a little button that says test. It sends to your email, okay? Now, a lot of times you'll be fine, but there's those small percentages of times because you use the trigger word, use something special, that you're not getting inboxed. You're not showing up in your inbox. You'll hit test and you'll sit there and wait, nothing. If you jump over your junk or spam folder, chances are your email's over there. And a lot of times it's just one simple tweak will get you right out of that junk and spam box. It could be from a link. It could be from just something you use, a trigger word. It could even be your subject line. So sometimes you need to test your emails, especially your autoresponders, because those autoresponders are follow-up by itself. You never get to test them after you test day 1. So you need to make sure those are tested perfectly, that they're inboxed the day that you put them in there. Because if they're not testing, because if your first one doesn't go in, guess what happens to your second email? It's not going to go in either. And the third email up there, not going to go in. Now you wasted 3, 4, 5, 6 days of email with your people because you didn't test, okay? It means more opens, more clicks, more trust, and a potential whitelisting to your email. Okay, so let me talk to you guys about whitelisting, how cool, I talk mostly about Gmail, guys, because Gmail is like 80% plus of users now. That's what people use these days. So we always focus on Gmail as our #1 delivery platform because we always want to deliver on Gmail first, and then we'll worry about the other free services out there next, okay? So what is domain whitelisting or user trust, okay? Obviously, there's one way. People can actually go in there and, what's that called? Hit that little add to favorites. You know, some marketers will tell you to do that, add to favorites, put it on your thing. Well, I'm sure you guys are with me. I'm lazy, I don't do that, right? It's not in my mind to do that. I'm not gonna go and take 6 steps just so someone can send me a promotional email or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I have that on anybody. So anyways, so I kind of pulled up this tweak here. So in these 2 emails, this was an identical email. This was an identical email in my thing. Now, there's a difference that you guys are seeing up here, okay? You guys track the difference yet? Anyone see it? Yes? Yes, you see it, right? So the top one will tell you JV at Build My List, and the other one doesn't have it, right? You notice that? The funny thing is, it's the same email in 2 different inboxes. Here's the difference. The top one is showing you an untrusted email, basically one that is coming from an email that isn't on your trust list, right? And the second one is trusted. That second one, regardless how spammy your message is, almost 99% of the time will inbox because you're trusted, you trust this user. Okay? So now why do I bring this up in testing? So I talk about testing because when you're testing your emails, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I have multiple emails. Okay? I have a lot of emails. I do different emails for different companies. It's important to have these different emails for testing for your email marketing company. So when you're testing, you want to make sure that it looks like the top one there. You want to make sure that it's always showing. If you ever hit test and you test your email out to yourself and it shows like this, you need to go to a different email because that one is now trusted. And it's no longer gonna show you, advise you against it. Okay? So, I don't know what time. The top one. Sorry. So the top one is the good one. That's the one you want to see every time you send that email. Every time you send that test, you want to see the top one there, not the bottom one. The bottom one is basically trusted and shows up on your domain saying that your Gmail or whoever, in this case it's Gmail, they've put it in your trusted inbox. So basically, whenever that person emails you, they're always going to land in your inbox no matter what. That top one is what your customers are going to see most likely because when they're first new, they're first in your autoresponder, they're not trusted yet, right? They don't trust you, they don't know who you are yet. So it's very important to do that. So, yes? Correct. But you always want to test and make sure you're doing the top one. Correct. You got it. So what he just said is, whenever you're doing it, when you're testing it, you should always make sure it looks like the top one. As your email list grows and your people continue to subscribe to you, they're going to start seeing something more like the bottom one because they're now on your trusted list. But no matter what, every email you send, any autoresponder you send, you always want to make sure when your tests show up in your inbox that they look like the top one there, where it shows your email address as your right next to your from name. It's very important, okay? So testing has been like my big thing this year. I talk about on it all the time about testing, how important it is to make sure that you're testing, okay? So I have no idea what time it is here. 3:10, okay. All right, so I think I have some time for Q&A actually. I think I blew through this a little fast. All right, so we'll do a little Q&A, but first of all, download. If you want to download it, there's the URL. You can download the whole presentation, go back through it a couple times. I know that my presentation will go over. Some people probably got it, some people didn't get it. So it's very important, but there's my presentation. You guys can go ahead and download it. Oh, there, oh. I broke it, sorry. All right, 1 second. Yes, work? No? Hold on, we're going to the end. I don't know how to actually use. 1 second, guys. All right. That should work. Yes? No? Oh, there it goes. Okay, there it goes. It's actually really easy. jimmykim.net/Profit Academy. You'll just go on there. It'll say download button. It's a PowerPoint presentation. You can download it, kind of go through it again. If you missed something, if you couldn't see it, you can grab it from there. So I think I have a few minutes, actually. I can do some Q&A all about email. So let's open it up.
Jimmy,
Yes.
when you're talking about the redirection on the cloaking, are you talking about you're able to redirect it if a page is not working or anything? You can do it in the back end and the cloak link will now redirect to the new link?
Correct. That's exactly the right idea. So he asked basically, I think I understand what you're asking. Basically, if you, let's just say you use this link and let's just say you wanted to send to a promotion today and you sent an email, right? And let's just the page isn't working, your link's not working. What a cloak tracker does, it gives you a back-end ability. Basically, your back-end is where you're entering your link in, okay? And I think he has a section in his course in Profit Academy about this. But basically, it allows you to change that to whatever you want on a fly. On a simple fly of changing that domain. So if you put google.com in there and you hit send, and then 2 minutes later you notice that, oh, I spelled Google wrong. I put 2 G's in there or 2 O's or something extra in there. You can go in there and correct it real fast, as opposed to a typical email in which you're sending an email and you don't have the ability to control. Once you send that email off into cyberspace, you can't change that link. So make sure you're protecting yourself with cloaking it, basically masking it so you can use a tracker with it as well. Okay? That make sense?
Yeah, changing the back end, it'll now, instead of here, the same link will be here.
Correct. Got it. Yep.
Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for a really awesome presentation. Okay, and now, yeah.
Thank you.
Give it up for Jimmy. Okay, I've been using for a long time now Aweber as my email provider, and I found this service that's called AW Pro Tools. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Tools.
It allows you to cloak links and move people from your. It does a lot of things.
Okay.
But the thing that I'm not sure about is when you use the link created by that, it cloaks it, and it does track clicks and everything that's going on. But Aweber doesn't track what's going on, so I wasn't sure which one was best.
What do you mean Aweber doesn't track?
Usually, when I use this one and somebody clicks on it, Aweber shows 0 clicks. But this one, so maybe it's not a very good service.
I don't think it's anything to do. That has nothing to do with this company system you're using. It's probably your settings when you're email. Are you using a plain text email by chance?
No, I use the HTML email, but I use plain text as you showed.
It's probably something you must be turning tracking links off.
In Aweber.
In Aweber, correct.
All right. Well,
It has nothing to do with this tool. It has to be with your sys side, basically with Aweber. There's an option that says turn tracking off, so it turns the tracking off. What happens with the ESP, any company, is when you send that link, we remask it anyways when we send it out. So whatever you put there, we're going to remask it for our own tracking links inside of it. So it has nothing to do with the actual tool you're using, but yeah.
okay, I'll check it out. Thank you very much.
No problem. Where are we going? Over here.
So I use SendLane, and usually I use like the Mocha template, but I delete all the pictures and
can't
images.
hear you.
Okay, so I'm a SendLane user,
Okay.
and usually what I do is I delete all of the pictures out of the Mocha template to make my email plain white. Do you know, will that still be picked up as using a template, or is it read as a regular white HTML?
It would be regular white HTML if you're deleting the images out. But if you use the third one, when you're going through the pages, if you use the third one that says use blank HTML, that kind of eliminates have to delete everything, just FYI, if you know.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Very simple. You don't have to go all through this confusion there.
Very nice.
Another question?
Do you want to choose?
It doesn't matter. I'll let you choose.
Okay, this gentleman is.
All right, there we go.
quite
He's raising
enthusiastic.
both hands, so he gets there.
Jimmy Kim, I just want to be your friend.
We can be friends.
My question is, I'm very, very new to this, and going through the Profit Academy videos, they were talking about lead pages, and Mr. Hutchins was talking about a double opt-in, a 2-page opt-in, and I signed up with SendLane as well, and I was just wanting to know, I couldn't find one with your guys' templates on there, so I just wanted to see if that's something that you could bring to the table, because I would rather use that, so that way on my first page, it doesn't look like I'm taking something from them right away.
Sure, the two-page opt-in. You're talking about basically they click a button and opens a box, right?
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you've been into the site?
It's been a little bit now.
What's that?
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's there.
All right. Well, hey, good deal. You already knew I was coming at you with that, so good deal.
All right, who else? Anyone else? Right here. She's standing up and...
Is that right here?
Yes, in the corner there. We'd like 2 more questions. I don't know how much time I have. Anik?
I think it's 3:20 or 3:30.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for your presentation. This is probably a very simple question, but
Sure.
you mentioned the fancy emails versus the HTML. So is the fancy when you're using a template?
Correct.
Is that what you call? Okay, and HTML, is that like the written out, the long
I get,
sales pages?
yeah, exactly. Like just a plain text email, basically a white email with just some words on it, a
What
plain
if
email.
you have an e-sign that goes out and you use a template for branding purposes to send it out?
Correct. So what I was saying is, if you're really into branding, you can do it, but the chances of ending up in a promotional tab increase, and your click-through rates and open rates seem to decrease with it, and that's the test we keep seeing over and over again. So it's a decision you have to make.
Right.
Again, if you're Apple, you're sending out the perfect Apple email every time,
Right.
but they don't care because they've got the huge tribe and following behind it, right? But when you're starting up fresh, I know you're trying to brand yourself, but at the same time, it's important to get the most opens and clicks.
Sure.
So I always recommend using the plain HTML text.
All right, thanks.
Yep. It doesn't matter. You can take a couple more. Yeah, standing up wins, I guess.
Is there any way to put a picture in a plain HTML?
Yes, absolutely you can. You can just, depending on the service again, they all have, you can put the pictures in. The key is, and we talk about this again, is the key is to use a unique picture, not one that you're finding. Yeah, if it's yourself or whatever, it's fine. It's when you go out and find an image off Google or an image off of someone's affiliate page that you post in there, no longer becomes a unique image. Your chances increase. Doesn't mean you're gonna get promotional tabbed. I'm not saying you are, it just increases, and that's what I've always noticed. Where did we go? Oh.
Is there any way to put a remarketing pixel inside a plain
A remarketing pixel?
Yeah, I would like to just remarket.
That's a great question, actually.
Yeah.
That is a great question. I don't know if we can do that. Is Zach in
I
there?
think we can
No?
do that on plain HTML, but
He doesn't know
it's
either, I
great.
don't think. Zach, he wants to know if there's a way to put a retargeting pixel. Zach is our CTO, by the way. He's here of SendLane.
Hi, Zach.
He's the delivery guy. He's the guy who gets your emails in the inbox. So that guy back there. Yeah, give him a round of applause there. Zach, he wants to know if you can add a retargeting pixel on an email. He said, no, I can't. It does not work with email.
Okay, and one more question.
Sure.
I found out that I'm using HyperTracker for, to track my clicks. And it seems like after a while, they I don't know, just the emails like getting spammy because of the HyperTracker link. I'm not sure if that's the case in SendLane. I'm not using SendLane, but
It, again, depends if you have that little link clicked or not, where it's displaying that link or not. This is why I was talking about masking emails, how
Yeah,
important it is.
it's like
So if you don't mask an email, it displays that link, right? Hypertracker.com/,
Right,
etc.
right.
That alone can get you in the spam box. Try using the Hypertracker link, but mask it. Click here to learn more, something like that. Mask it and put your Hypertracker link over into it. You know how that works, right? You highlight it, you hit the link button usually.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is it's going to let the back end go ahead and track it through their system. So whoever the company is, Aweber, it's going to go ahead and cloak it, but it's not going to display it. So by not displaying, you eliminate that problem.
oh.
Hey, Jimmy,
you.
Yes.
what do you think about getting Zach up there with you on stage?
I mean, Zach, if you want to come up here and answer some questions,
Guys, what do you think? You want Zach up there? So
come on up here.
Zach's a little nervous. He's not really spoken on stage before. So let's give him a nice big round of applause and cheerful welcome. Zach.
Zach, you can come answer some questions with me. So Zach here is like our child prodigy is what we call him because he's young. He's 22 years old, right? 22 years old. I think you made your first million when you were 18. Is that what it was? 18 years old, he made his first $1 million online, okay? All right. This guy is the genius behind SendLane as far as the delivery and the technology behind the company. He's the one that helps deliver your emails into the inbox. I'm an email marketer and user. I understand how this all works. But this guy is the one who actually gets your emails inboxed. He just smiles. I have a question here.
Yes, I would like to piggyback on what the young lady asked. Now, once a person, let's say, opens your email, initially being a plain HTML email, and opens it several times, at that point in time, do you think it may be considered whitelisted? You know, because sometimes Gmail will do that, put that little triangle there to where you can start adding the template, or did you, how it, because...
I think Zach would agree with this. I think it's just best practice to keep it a plain HTML, right?
It's always best to keep it plain HTML.
That's just the simple practice that I recommend to everybody. Until you get to a large, even Anik, I won't let him use a template. I mean, Anik has, I don't know, 300, 400,000 subscribers through his email list. I don't even let him use his template because I'm just trying to maximize deliveries and clicks. The number one thing when you're sending an email is to get opens and clicks, right? It doesn't matter how pretty your email is. You just want them to click through it, right? Open it, click your content, sell them something, or give them some great content with it. So that's so important. And that's what it really comes down to. So regular HTML, I mean, especially, you know, so.
Hi. It's been a while. I tried using the SendLane before when you guys first sent an email, but it's been a while. I know you guys were working on linking it with lead pages. I don't know if what's the update on that. That would be great if.
What's the political answer here? They are very large. We've requested it, and there's a lot of people on the list, and they just don't get back to us because this is just their thing now. So that's my answer. Basically, I can't integrate because they won't allow me to.
Yeah, and in the end of the day, like I understand, like a lot of people like to use lead pages. It's because of a lot of template they had, and as we get more requests from you guys, and we have been, I'm going to start over the next few weeks. I promise you're gonna see a lot of beautiful templates that's gonna outstand.
Yeah, we got a lot of new things coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Templates. New
like
UI.
I already like set a number of designers, and they're working.
Yeah,
on
we've hired a bunch of designers
yeah,
because.
Few weeks you're gonna see like really beautiful landing page templates that you will actually like.
Absolutely. All right. I saw someone jumping over here. Who was jumping? All right. Someone was jumping.
Well, since we're right here, this one and that
we
one
can
over
do this
there.
one first. I'm sorry, I didn't see you jump though.
And then over there.
She didn't.
I don't know if I could answer that. It's about Facebook. It's nothing to do with email. Can I? Clicks.
I'm sorry, I can't. I don't understand.
Facebook groups and pages. Can I ask a question about that? You can hear me. Like
what about Facebook marketing? I'm confused about Facebook.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask a question on Facebook?
Sure.
Okay. Well, about whitelisting, about clicks. Now, I have a page, and obviously some members. Do they all? Is it possible that some of them don't get, the information because it's like it has hashtags? So maybe I put a lot free.
I think what you're trying to ask is if you're making a Facebook post, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right.
And you're using hashtags, is that what you're saying?
Where should we put them, the hashtags? What words? And also, is it possible that my information, that promo page, does not get to the members of that group or the page?
Oh, she seems to know the answer. I don't think this might be over. I'm not really sure.
I think it's relative to SendLane and email. However, this woman right here has an answer for you. So.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
anyone else who has a similar question,
I'm
wave
not
your
really
hand.
familiar with that, but
okay,
looks like she already has the answer for you.
And over here, who was going nuts?
Jumping in the corner up there.
Okay,
Yep, there she is.
Okay, I just want to clarify I was not going nuts.
Yes. Just send plain emails. You'll come out.
Hi, Jimmy. I'm using SendLane, and I'm happy to announce I've got 298 people in my autoresponder, so thank you.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I made $173. I'm pretty excited.
Ooh, look at that. That's awesome.
So, when I was trying to optimize and talking to different people who are selling clicks on Clickonomy, they said that the time redirect works better because I didn't have a time redirect. So I started using the thank you page generator thing that you guys came up with. My question is it better to use a landing page, a thank you page with a timed redirect on it, or is the thank you page generator that you guys have, is there much difference?
I know what you're asking. This is something that I don't do in my. It depends on what your purpose and goals are. I mean, I know this is, where's Anik at? Anik's back there. Basically, she's asking, in SendLane, we give you a very free thank you page generator. Basically, here's your book, here's your report, etc. Download it here, we keep it easy. In Anik's course, he teaches you to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, a redirect page right to the offer, right? So it's a question of, she's asking me which one's better, okay? Now, in this case, I can't answer that because I think they both work equally as well. But the thing is, it depends on how you're trying to grow your relationship. That's what my honest answer is. That's what I've always felt. If I'm trying to grow that relationship better with a person in my email list, I'm going to give them the book up front and not promote them until my follow-up series, okay? But if you're looking for the ROI, the maximum ROI, you want to promote them immediately while they're hot and attentive. That's my answer, basically.
Right. So the difference between a regular thank you page where they go, okay, while your book's arriving,
yes.
Here, watch this video.
Correct.
Versus a redirect which just says, hey, it's coming, and then it just goes immediately, and there's nothing about you. There's no, you know what I'm saying? It's just very, very simple.
Yeah,
Versus
basically it has
building.
little words like, hey, here's the book, etc.
Yeah.
Download now. But your whole idea is you have your autoresponder set up behind it, so when they opt in, within an hour, you're sending them an email right away, reminding them of the book, reminding them who you are, and then you can start promoting from there. So it's an option, you know, it's optional how you want to do it. I've gone both ways with it. I do it for myself, my personal business. I just give them a book or the report or whatever I told them I'm going to give them on the free side, and then I put them into the autoresponder and I follow up through there.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a decision, a personal decision.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think, is that what she said? I'm confused by this question, I guess.
So,
Yeah, maybe you guys.
I'm sorry. I think that what she was asking was not whether or not to do a thank you page offer, but there's an option in SendLane where you can create the thank you page, the transition page, where it
Correct.
just says, you know, thank you, it's on its way, now take a look at this offer.
Well, actually,
Or-
thank you page is designed, it just says to download now, which is why it's not triggering in my head. If you
Right.
change the words to check out this offer, then if that's the question, then you want to use the auto direct because people are lazy, they won't click through. So you want to force them through as fast as possible. So that's the answer for that. I thought that's what she was asking about, the page of giving them a book and a report and ending it there or forwarding them to the offer. That's what I was thinking too. Okay?
Are we time or?
I don't know. We can do like 2 more. Let's do 2 more. I see someone.
Okay,
I
2
see he's been raising his hand, so I'll do him and then her right there
So
afterwards.
where do you want to go?
Right here in front.
Okay.
This is just a feature suggestion.
Sure.
It would be awesome if you guys could add a feature in a semi-just version of, like, for example, like a Dropbox where we could upload our content that goes beyond 100 megabytes or 50 megabytes, but the link will expire in a certain, or you could manage the download time, or
Yeah, hosting, we're already doing that.
you guys do that, or awesome, all right.
We don't do it. We're working on it, right?
Yeah, we're already
Okay,
working
we're working on it.
that's
It's
great.
not available yet, but we're working on it. We've got like a feature list, like
that's great.
hundreds of
Yeah,
things
like-
that we're working on. Guys, just remember, we're digital marketers. We've done it all. So we've got a world of things, but our first and foremost thing is delivery, to get your email into the inbox. That's the first thing, and then we're going to add a bunch of features behind it. I mean, you guys are going to see a brand new UI this year. I mean, well, in like 30 days, I think we're out, right?
Yeah.
30 days out, you're going to come log in. It's going to look completely different because we've listened to you guys. We know what you guys are looking for. You guys have kind of been a little bit of a test group, which is why we gave you guys a lot of months. We gave you 3 months free on purpose because it allowed us to get the feedback and grow with that, okay? And someone was jumped back there. One more back there.
I have a preview pane on my email, on my incoming email. So a lot of my emails I read that way. I don't ever open them. And so I've been taken off a lot of these kinds of emails that you're sending out because apparently I'm not responding, but I am. And I am reading them, and some.
You're using a special program. Is that
It's a preview pane.
A preview
it's called
page.
Pane. So I'm seeing it below without having to open the email. And
I
so do
see.
you
And then
have
you're eventually
something-
getting pushed off the list because you're not opening emails, right?
Yeah. So is there a way that you guys can?
I don't know that, but it actually brings up a good point that I don't know why I didn't put in the slide about it, but basically about the email thing. It's not proven 100% like how this works, but basically this is the idea it works. Anik and I was talking about this. I'll use Anik as an example with his wife. Basically, his wife is obviously on his email list, right? And recently he was like, hey, she's not getting inbox. She's not seeing my emails, right? I said, check spam. And he goes, she's in spam. Why? Because the user hadn't opened the email in like however long. We don't know the exact date.
yeah.
It can range from 8 to 30 days, is what we've seen, 30 days, 60 days. Because the user hasn't actively opened the email, you're not actually not getting the email. It's just going into your spam box because your email service provider is saying it's not
relevant.
It's not relevant to you, so you must not care, so no longer. That comes back to my whole list scrubbing thing, right? If you list scrub, you don't have to do that. But outside of that, I don't know what to tell you there. If you're using a previewer, I don't know how to explain that because the only way it works is when you open it, it has a tracking pixel that's inside that email, and that's how it shoots the information back to us. So that's the only way I can explain that.
Wow.
So.
Is it? How are we on it?
All right,
Do we
one
need to
more. I'll
end, or-
take one more because she's just shaking her hand. One more. We'll take. She's shaking her hand. And I'll be around, guys. And guys, just so you guys know, we have the booth outside for SendLane. Just because the booth is there for SendLane doesn't mean that we can't answer other questions if you have questions. They're there. I flew them in from Canada and San Diego with me, so they're here to answer your questions. Anything, even if you're having issues, they'll log into your account right now and help you. So they're here back there all day today, all day tomorrow. So I'm sure you guys have seen that booth as well.
Hi, I'm with iContact, and I have my autoresponder set up, and I send all my emails. But when I look at the results and I look at the clicks and the opens and the clicks is very low, but they have the category that says no info, and it's like 80% or higher, and it's no info, and I can't understand what that is.
I can't. I didn't get that. Did you get that? I did not hear that. Can you get closer?
In the autoresponder, when I look at my results, I have the opens and I have the clicks, but most of them are in the category of no information, and it's 80% or higher. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that, what that could be.
The only reason that they turned off their tracking links, right? That's the only reason.
Yeah, no, but I guess if they did not open, so we have no information about the subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that means they did not have any activity in your emails.
So remember we talked about testing? It's probably a good time right now to go back and test all your autoresponders.
I did a few tests already, and it's always the same thing. It's either roughly 80% or higher, no information.
80% or higher doing what? I'm sorry.
No information. They fall in that category.
Is this with SendLane?
No, with iContact.
Oh, I don't know how their platform.
Oh, it's with iContact. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about iContact.
Yeah, I can't help you with iContact. I haven't used iContact since 2009.
Yeah,
they don't like affiliate marketers. So.
They don't like affiliate marketers anyway.
Yeah, they don't like affiliate marketers, so I haven't been an affiliate marketer with them since 2009. So.
Eye contact is so 17 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. But now, any other question? Are we moving on, or what? Where are we? There, Anik. How are we for time?
Are we good? We go one more. This guy's
okay. So one more question. Okay.
Wait, they've got a crowd cheering for this guy. So let's go over here.
Feel the energy right over here.
Oh, I never saw a timer.
You are a PowerPoint.
You know what? This is really cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I have my website built with WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a WordPress plugin?
Not yet. That's actually, we've been talking about that. Plugins to make it for opt-in pages through WordPress.
So that when I redirect from Facebook, I can't go to my opt-in page. I've got to go to my web page. Otherwise, Facebook will knock me off. So I need to go through my WordPress site.
Sure.
Right? And so...
Well, there's two ways to do it. If you're not using a plugin, you can use the HTML or the, there's multiple ways to do it. You can use an iframe. There's a simple thing called an iframe. You can call an iframe. Or you can use the integration, the basic HTML code. You know, HTML code works in WordPress too as well. So if you don't know how to do that whole fancy stuff, if you hire a designer for like a couple bucks, they can integrate right into your page. For now, that's probably the better solution. We are working on a plugin because we do realize that people are asking for a plugin for SendLane, so we're working on it. It's just time. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Is this incredible, everyone?
Oh, well, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, could we please give him an amazing round of applause and thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Information. Honor of having you guys here. Thank you so much.